What is up and what is popping, y'all? So today we are gonna do a video about how to manage being a mom and doing any extracurricular activities. Okay, so this video is gonna be a little more serious, a little more in depth about, like I said, how to be a mom and manage life and how I was able to do it at such a young age. So I'm going to explain what I did and what my thought process was when I found that I was pregnant and how I was able to manage, like I said, being a mom, going to school, graduating, etc. On that note, get the chips, get the Coke, get the ice cream, whatever, chocolate, anything, get the snack you want, and let's dive right into it, okay? I'm not going to hold you out too long now. We're gonna start off when I first found out I was pregnant, okay? And just a FYI, I don't have this planned out. Like, I'm just gonna say what comes to my mind about what happened and what my thought process was, okay? Yeah. So when I first found out I was pregnant, I'm like, damn, what am I gonna do? I have a baby, and I already knew when I found that I was pregnant that I wanted to keep her. That wasn't like a second question in my head. It was like, okay, I'm pregnant, I want to keep this baby. But when I found that I was pregnant, I was in the middle of junior year of high school. Just doing the math, I'm going to be pregnant my senior year and give birth my senior year. And then when I went to the doctor, she had confirmed that I was going to give birth in October of my senior year, which is beginning of the senior year. So I have a whole year to go with the baby, and I need this plan. I need a plan on how I'm going to manage being a young mom and still graduating. Because my thought process was, okay, you have a kid on the way, and you need to get it together now, because even if you don't want to get that diploma for yourself because you're gonna be too tired, get that diploma for your kid, okay? And if you didn't know, a lot of jobs nowadays, the bare minimum that you need is a high school diploma, okay? So I'm like, okay, I need to come up with a plan. And I didn't really have a plan, but I kind of did. I'm like, okay, so let me talk to my guidance counselor and see what's up, because I had to obviously tell my principal and stuff that I was pregnant. So I ended up having a meeting with him. That's a whole separate thing. But eventually my guidance counselor found out, and she's like, okay, so what are we gonna do? So I'm like, I don't know, like, what are my options? And because, like I said, I knew I didn't want to get an abortion. That's not what I wanted. She's like, when you give birth, you can put your baby in a daycare. Like, who's gonna be watching your kid while you go to school? Because you can't bring your baby to school. Like, that's not the school that I had. So I said, me and Ryan, her dad had talked about this prior, and it was either her mom, his mom was going to watch her, or his grandmother was going to watch her. So that was like the plan. I'm like, okay, so I'll wake up in the morning, drop my daughter off at either her grandmother's house or her great grandmother's house, and then I'll go to school, pick her up, go back home. Like, that was the plan. So I'm explaining this to her, and she's like, okay, or you can just put her in a daycare. Putting my child in a daycare, I didn't feel comfortable doing that, because it's just like I was seeing stuff on the news, and that's just not something I wanted to do. I'm like, nah, like, that's not what I want. So then we started getting into the conversation. I asked her, I said, hold on, like, before we get any deeper into this, how long am I gonna get off of school after I give birth? She said 4 weeks. And if you didn't know, 4 weeks is a month. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, are you kidding me? Like, maternity leave for just a regular job is 3 months, and for school it's only 4 weeks. And it's just like, excuse me, like, I'm not even gonna be fully recovered yet whatsoever. Like, so I'm just like, oh my gosh. And it was either that, or she said I can do the 4 weeks and go back to the school I was going to at the time, or I can do like the 3 months, but I have to transfer to a different school. And the school she wanted to transfer me to was a teen mom school, and it's basically a school for, like I said, teen moms. You go in and there's a daycare, but I didn't want to. I just didn't want to do that. I'm like, then I have to bring my baby to school, and like the school was like far from my house, and I'm like, I have to travel mad deep with a kid, a newborn at that, and just like go to school. And also I like the school I was going to. Like, it was, the school I was going to was okay, but I have friends in that school, so I'm like, I don't want to just transfer and I don't know nobody, and it's my senior year. Like, why am I transferring schools my senior year? I just didn't want to do that. That's not what I wanted to do. So Ryan, her dad, he was working at the time, but he like had a flexible schedule, so he was still able to take care of her. Fast forward, my pregnancy goes by, senior year, October comes, I give birth. So I had to tell my guidance counselor, well, I think my mom called my guidance counselor, or she called my principal and was like, oh, hey, Nevaeh just gave birth. So I gave birth, we did the 4 weeks, the 4 weeks were over, and I went to school, I think on like Tuesday or something like that. So I went back to school, and everyone was like, oh, hey, da-da-da. When I had went back to school, like I said, Ryan was watching her. That was like the plan we had came up with. While I go to school, you're gonna take care of her, I'm gonna come home and we can swap. Because the way it was I was going into school at 9:15 and getting out at 1:25. So I was in school for only about 4 hours and some change. Ryan had to go to work at 2 o'clock. And it's like a 20, maybe 30 minute like transportation from here, the house, all the way to his job. So he was getting to his job like right on time. So like we were swapped. So I was going to school at 9, coming back, and then like I said, we will swap. So we honestly, it's the sacrifices you have to make as a parent. We didn't get to have a lot of time together, we didn't get to have like that one-on-one time and really talk or see each other, because he would come back home late, because he was working like 8 hours, so he's coming back home like 12 o'clock at night. But by that time, me and Brielle, the baby, is sleeping. So that was a sacrifice that we had to make in order for me to finish school and get my diploma. So we were doing that for a while. Like, we were doing that for practically my entire school year. We were doing that because that was my schedule. We were doing that. But there was a point where something happened with like Ryan's job, and he still had the job, but it's one of those jobs that like they call you in. So it's like a seasonal kind of thing. It wasn't busy around that time. Like, that's what it was. It wasn't busy. His job wasn't busy. So it wasn't much for him to do. A couple months after giving birth, I decided, hey, I want to work. Like, I just want to work to have that extra money in our pocket. So Ryan is like, okay, but that's going to be a lot of stress on you. And I'm like, if we need the money, then we need money. Like, hello. So I, like, when I was pregnant, I didn't mention this before, but when I was pregnant and going to school junior year, I also had a job. I was working at Shake Shack. I didn't mention that prior, but now y'all know. When I was pregnant junior year, up until, like I said, like when I gave birth, I was working at Shake Shack. So I stopped working there. I didn't do maternity leave. I didn't like the job, so I just stopped working there after I gave birth. But fast forward, sorry, this is a little confusing. Fast forward, like 3 months after I gave birth. So October, November, December, January. So like January, I'm like, hey guys, like, is it okay if I come back? And I guess they needed workers anyway, and they liked me as a worker. I didn't like the job, but they liked me. So the manager's like, yeah, sure, like, come in, it's fine. Like, okay, cool. So I go, and this was very hard for me. And I go, and I'm working. So now at this point, my schedule is 9:15 to 1:25. I'm at school. I'm getting home maybe 1:35, like 10-minute walk. I'm getting home like 1:35. I'm staying home for an hour. So an hour to, no, not an hour, like 2 hours. Stay home for like 2 hours, and then I have to leave, go to work, come back home at like 10 at night to do it all over again. So this was another sacrifice. I had to like sacrifice time with my child and time with my daughter just so that we could have extra money. And it's not like we were down bad, like we wasn't down bad, but it's like me, I just have that mindset like we need to push for more, like I need more. Like I said, it wasn't like we was down bad or nothing. It's just like, listen, like I need more. Like I just feel the need to do more for my kid. Yeah, like that was sacrifice I had to make. I had to make the sacrifice of just not seeing her as much. Like literally it was school, come home, see her for 2 hours, if she wasn't asleep, because if she's asleep I'm obviously not gonna wake her up. So I would go home and then leave, go to work, and then take care of her throughout the night. And when I tell you I was tired, y'all, I was tired. Like tired wasn't even funny. And so it came to a point where Ryan is like, hey, like I don't think you should be doing this, like you're just overworking yourself right now. But like I said, I just have that constant, look at my lash, y'all, horrible, but I just have that constant like drive to just do more for my child. My child woke up, y'all, so I had to take a little break, but I'm back. Like I was saying though, so I was working, going to school. Ryan came to the point where he was just like, hey, like you're overworking yourself, you shouldn't be doing this. He got like this better job, so he's like, now he's working 2 jobs. He didn't like stop working other jobs, so he's working 2 jobs. And then I quit my job, and they were like upset because I left and I was dead only there for like a month. So they were like upset with me, but I'm like, I don't care. Like, you know, I have to do what I have to do for my child, point blank, period. So like I said, it's really about those sacrifices that you have to make as a parent, and everyone's sacrifice is going to be different. Some sacrifices might be partying, some sacrifices, I don't know, might just be losing time out on friends or whatever the case may be. This girl is crazy, she's right here. But whatever it may be, you have to make those sacrifices, but just know that it's all going to work out and it's all going to be okay. So if you are pregnant, or you are a teen mom, or just a mom in general, because all moms in general have to make some sort of sacrifice, like whatever it is, every mom or dad has to make sacrifice. So I stopped working. I strictly was focused on school and the baby. So the rest of the year after I quit my job was strictly just going to school, taking care of her, going to school, taking care of her. And then me and Ryan were still doing like the swaps, where like I would go in the morning to go to school, come back, and then by the time I came back, he's getting ready to leave to go to work. So it was just a constant cycle until like May, because May I didn't have anything to do in school. All the work was done, like basically market period was over. So I honestly just stopped going to school, because like there's nothing more for me to do. Like at that point I was just waiting for graduation. So yeah, it's like, it was hard. Those are sacrifices that you just have to make as a parent in general. We were just doing that till I graduated, and now we're here. Now we are here with my child right there. She's so crazy. So that's how I managed. It was really, I feel like moral of like this whole video is just, you really have to understand time management and hope and pray. Like I really hope and pray, like if you are like pregnant or whatever the case is, I pray that you have some sort of support, whether that's family, whether that's from a friend, whether that's from, I don't know, somewhere you're cool with, whatever the case may be. I pray that you have that support, because I will say this, if like my baby daddy like left me or something like that, I don't know, like I don't think I would have been able to finish school, to be honest with y'all. Whoever it is, I pray that you guys do have that support, because I feel if her father wasn't in her life and he was just one of those dads just like that just got me pregnant and left, I feel like it would have been way more harder for me to finish school, because at that point, like obviously like she's my main priority, and she was still my main priority when I had school. But it's like when I had the opportunity to go to school, if that makes sense. I had that opportunity to finish school because her dad was there to help me like take care of her while I went to school. I do appreciate that. And daycares are, besides the fact that like I don't really trust anybody with my child, Daycares are expensive. Daycares are like $5,000 a week, maybe more. And that is a dub, baby. No, we're not doing that. Like, that's not coming out of my pocket. Like, what am I, Kylie Jenner? Be for real. Moral of the story, if you're pregnant and you're trying to learn how to manage certain things, just learn time management. I pray that you have the support and trust your instinct. Whatever you want to do, if you feel comfortable with putting your child in daycare, do that. If you don't feel doing it, don't do it. Like, you know, but just know that no matter how old you are, how young you are, there are always going to be sacrifices that you have to make as a parent, you know, and those sacrifices are different for everybody. And she's starting to cry and fuss right now because she wants my attention. So I'm gonna close off this video. There's nothing much to the story, so yeah, I pray that if you're pregnant that you have the support. Like I said, love you guys. Thank you for watching this video. She says bye too. Sorry, this is a fast ending, but yeah, that's more of the story. Learn time management and you'll be fine. So okay, anyways, bye y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.
When you talk to me, it's like a melody, Shawty, it's like a melody.